Good morning. I'm gonna try to be quiet because people are still sleeping, but I wanted to talk about coffee. Coffee bean prices are at an all-time high. If you go to the coffee shop and you buy your favorite little beans, it's gonna be way more money than it was a few years ago. And it's just gonna get higher. So you may be thinking, I can get some cheaper coffee and it's gonna be just fine. Two ones that people talk about, or three, are Aldi, Costco, and Trader Joe's. You can do some research, you can try the coffees there. I've had decent luck with, just recently with this one from Trader Joe's. I'd never seen it before and it was fine. And it was only about 11 or 12 bucks for this 12-ounce bag, which is really good. You know, the beans you're gonna get from a nice coffee shop around me are gonna be like 17 to 22 bucks for a 12-ounce bag. But you also may be thinking, well, what about all these Italian beans? Because Italians invented espresso. Italy is a place where I want to be really nice here. They don't have a huge amount of money, and so coffee is not this insanely premium thing, including good coffee. So you might have heard of Lavazza. This would be the most well-known Italian coffee brand that I could think of. And this is their house blend, 100% Arabica. This is like 11 or 12 bucks on Amazon. Now, what you're doing when you buy that is you are running the risk of coffee that's quite old. I bought this directly from Lavazza's site thinking it would be fresher, paying the extra shipping charges, and it appears to have been made in, it was roasted in October of last year, so not the freshest. However, it does smell good, and it produces some decent crema. So that's another option. What if you want to have cheap coffee, but you also want to experience with classic Neapolitan coffee, Neapolitan espresso? Well, we're going to try this. I've never tried this before. This was recommended by a YouTuber who does coffee stuff, and not this exact one, but this is a 100% Arabica blend. I prefer Arabica. There's the other main type of coffee is Robusta. It doesn't taste very good. I've had several Robusta blends. One of them was fine, it was Lavazza, and another one of them was just tasted too rubbery. So it's also significantly higher in caffeine, and I'm like so sensitive to caffeine that I drink a lot less coffee than I used to. So let us pull some shots and see how these coffees compare. Okay, so we just pulled our first shot of Saka 100% Arabica. I should say this is fresh, and it's from Naples. So this is classic Italian espresso. And you can see we've got a good crema. It smells good. Yeah. It's pretty good. It'll be better with milk. I don't actually drink plain espresso that much. But if the question is, can I cut a couple bucks off my weekly budget by buying budget coffee beans? Yes. And I would say, if you want to buy something fun, try Italian beans. Try to guarantee that they're fresh roasted. It's quite hard to do that, but I bought these beans, Saka Caffe beans from a vendor called Caffe Coffee, and they guaranteed that the coffee would be fresh. And if I had bought a big bag from them, it would have actually been quite cost effective, even with the additional shipping charges. Cheapest coffee that I've had recently that I did like was the Trader Joe's one that I showed you earlier. Okay, so thanks for tuning in to Moses Coffee. We've answered the question, can you get cheap coffee that's good? And the answer is yes. Okay, I'm back. I actually combine this with milk the way I usually drink it. So let's see if it's apples to apples with the Lavazza. That's really good. I like my double wall glasses. So, here's the deal. There's two schools of thought with espresso. One is the traditional school of thought. Espresso was invented in Italy, and the Italians like kind of a cheaper bean that's roasted dark. It's a little bit like thinking about a hamburger. Is the best hamburger you've ever had the most expensive one? Probably not. You probably think, like me, that a burger from In-N-Out or something like that is, you know, one of the best you've ever had, like a fresh patty, a standard bun with American cheese, and, you know, lettuce, pickles, onion, and some fresh fries. That can be good wherever in this country you have it. You can get a good burger and fries. It's not fancy, but it's cheap and it's good, and that's awesome. Coffee in Italy is a little bit like that. There's cheap coffee. It doesn't necessarily have the same quality markers that coffee in the U.S. has. It could be a blend of Arabica beans with cheaper Robusta beans. It could be less fresh. It could be brewed in a less, maybe a slightly sloppier way in terms of the espresso equipment that they're using and the type of drinks they're making and all that. But the end result is actually good. But then when Americans got hold of espresso with basically the rise of Starbucks and things like that, one thing that's happened in the last 25 years is people like, we should be using more lighter roasted beans. And yeah, it's absolutely true. You get more flavor and more interesting flavors, more diverse flavors. The darker the beans are roasted, the less flavor comes through, or the less individualized coffee flavor and the more roasty flavor. That's what some people like. If you like French roast coffee, if that's the type you buy, it's roasted within an inch of its life. It doesn't really matter what kind you buy. If you're buying an expensive French roast, I urge you to try a cheap French roast and see if you can actually tell the difference. Maybe you can. But with light roast coffees, there's a huge, huge variation. I had one a couple months ago. They said it would taste like strawberry, and it did. Coffee that tasted like strawberry. That's crazy to me. I prefer to be right in the middle. I want that caramely, chocolatey richness. But I also don't want bitterness. Bitterness is something that I associate with darker coffee. So, do these pass the test? Could you buy a bag of Saka? Now, this is a little hard to get in this country. If you could find really good fresh Lavazza beans, I would recommend the house blend Perfetto is okay. I would try their Super Crema one first, and then I would try their Lavazza Tierra, which is kind of their more artsy-fartsy, equal exchange, fair trade. We don't have free trade anymore. It's 2025. They're fair trade beans. So anyway, this is really tasty. And it's similar to this. So spending extra to get the fresh beans straight from Italy. Did not, it was like, these are cheap, but not as cheap as this. This is one of the cheapest bags of coffee I've ever enjoyed, you know, since COVID and since everything went crazy in terms of prices. So that is how to survive expensive coffee prices in 2025 from Moses Bradford. Thanks so much for watching.